Hey all you Switch fans, welcome back to What's New in the eShop. We're going to take a look at the new releases for the full second week of May 2022. I'll go over what I think are the highlights, and we'll have a nice little sizzle reel with the rest of the choices. So let's jump right into these games. All right, everyone, we have a much better week of releases than we did last week, so I think there's a lot that you're going to be excited about. First, on May 10th, we have the release of Eiyuden Chronicle Rising. Eiyuden Chronicle Rising combines a thrilling adventure through ancient ruins with the tale of one town's rise from the ashes. Drawn by lenses and other treasure in the nearby rune barrows, our heroes learn that the town is struggling to rebuild after an earthquake and decide to help. Along the way, they'll resolve disputes between eager adventurers and wary locals who don't think the barrows should be disturbed, and they'll learn more about each other's reasons for seeking treasure, deepening their bonds in the process. As you will learn, these rune barrows hide a great secret that has fateful implications for one of the characters. What begins as a simple treasure hunt turns into a dark conspiracy that will shake the world. The game will introduce a portion of Eiyuden Chronicle's cast of characters and an original story with thrilling action and engaging town upgrading elements. Alright, honestly, I don't know anything about the Eiyuden Chronicle series of games, but I will say that I absolutely adore the visual style in this game. It uses that really new popular art style, which is sort of like a 2.5D Hyper HD retro kind of look. So it is definitely a very good looking game. It's an action RPG, which is definitely more in line with my taste of how I enjoy my RPGs. Again, I don't know much about this series of games, so I don't think I'm going to jump in at full price, but I will say I think the price is pretty darn reasonable. Looking at the game and clicking over, I really thought I would see more like a price around $30 or $40, but it is releasing for $14.99. So I'm sure there's a nice dedicated fan base that's really looking forward to this, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. Alright, also on May 10th, we have Wolfstride. Wolfstride is a story-driven, humor-laced RPG where you will test your mettle in an action-packed mecha tournament. As a trio of cheeky criminals featuring dog mechanic Duke, pilot knife Leopard, and master of many talents Dominic Shade, you will battle your robot rig that needs a lot of love, repair and upgrade by doing odd jobs to pay the bills, and battle the best of the best, all while running from the regrettable choices of the past. This game literally just got announced like 2 days ago, and it's already coming out this week, so a very short amount of time between its announcement and its release date. But if you like mech games, and you like RPGs, and you like the visual art aesthetic, which is a very cool sort of a black and white anime kind of look to this, then I think there's a good chance you'll enjoy this one. It does come from Raw Fury. Raw Fury is a very good indie publisher. They do not publish junk, so I think that you could probably jump into this one blind if it sounds like something you enjoy. So like I said, Wolfstride does release May 10th for a fairly reasonable sounding $14.99. Alright, on May 11th from Thunderful Games, we have Source of Madness. Source of Madness puts players in the role of an acolyte in an alternate reality controlled by cosmic entities. These worlds warp and distort each day, leaving the lone lands unpredictably terraformed and inhabited by grotesque beings of celestial origins. To get to the source of this unknowable evil, your voyage will take you across 9 biomes, from the depths of Dungeon of Forgotten Knowledge, the eerie landscape of the Forest of Lies, to the grand non-Euclidean Citadel Relay, all the way up to celestial bodies on the rims of the universe. So yeah, this is a great looking side-scrolling roguelike action RPG. It all takes place in the sort of world of Lovecraft. So it does feature a lot of really disturbing looking monsters and creatures. I just absolutely adore this visual style though. It is super creepy, but also absolutely gorgeous. And the publisher Thunderful Games has an amazing track record of releasing nothing but absolute bangers, so I think that this one is going to turn out really well. So Source of Madness does release May 11th for $19.99. Definitely a slightly more steep price for an indie game, but again, Thunderful, they do not release junk. Alright, moving on May 12th, we have the release of Cloud Gardens. In this meditative title that embraces your creativity, create small plant-covered dioramas of brutalism and beauty by planting seeds, repurposing hundreds of discarded objects, and creating unique structures for nature to reclaim. Dive into a relaxing sandbox mode with no goals, or take on a multi-chapter campaign where the task is to strike a balance between the natural and the manufactured. Adding objects will encourage lush vegetation to grow, but each object must be covered in foliage in order to proceed. Cloud Gardens hovers somewhere in between a sandbox toy and a game with challenges, partly a gardening simulator, partly a dystopian landscape builder, and partly a puzzle game that is both satisfying and without frustration. It is a relaxing experience that takes you from one scene to the next while encouraging creativity and coming up with your own solutions. Gotta be honest, the only thing it took for me to be interested in this game was one glimpse of the visual style. I absolutely adore this sort of pixelated retro but also modern looking aesthetic. And I really do enjoy this sort of laid back, these little mini town builder games, or in this case, a garden building game. So I think this one looks really enjoyable. It does release May 12th, and I think it's unfortunately priced a little bit high. It's priced at $17.99. I'm sure it's good, but I kind of feel like for a game that's sort of also advertising itself as more of like a digital toy, I think $17.99, it seems a bit steep. But it's definitely one that's going on my wish list, and the first time it hits a 50% off, I think that's when I'm going to be picking it up. Alright, also on May 12th, we have Flippin Kaktus. When the vicious Calavera's drug cartel raids his home, Cactus breaks bad in a hardcore vendetta to save his foster family. The combat-focused action is filled with enemies, explosions, and an abundance of pop culture fostered elements. So yeah, it's a retro-style platformer action run-and-gun roguelike, but what does look kind of interesting is that you don't have to play it all guns a-blazing. Apparently there are ways to sort of set traps for enemies and sabotage and booby-trap things. But overall, this just looks like a nice little retro-style throwback, silly, not taking itself seriously. I couldn't find a certain price for the Switch version, but the Xbox version is releasing for $11.99, so I'm going to assume that is also the Switch price. And from what I'm seeing, I think $11.99 maybe just is a little bit smidge high, but maybe after it gets its first sale for a few bucks off, it'll be a little more inviting. Alright, also on May 10th, we have the release of Rogue Lords. Rogue Lords is a dark fantasy roguelike where you play as the devil. Defeated many moons ago, you are finally coming back with your most faithful disciples to take revenge on those miserable demon hunters. Play runs after runs and collect ancient artifacts to regain your power and take back your rightful place. Set up your team of famous evil geniuses like Dracula, the Headless Horseman, or Bloody Mary. Build their set of skills and create synergies to face any mortal who dares to stand in your way. Unlock new abilities, collect souls, and make the right choices in events, and use your powers to slay the forces of good. It sounds like Rogue Lords will really appeal to people who enjoyed Slay the Spire. I just absolutely adore its visual aesthetic. It's just a really great gothic macabre kind of style. And for what it's worth, the Steam review has over 1,000 reviews and they are all overwhelmingly positive, so that is a very good sign. So hopefully that does translate over to the quality for the Switch version, which again does release May 12th for $24.99. Alright, that's what I consider to be the highlights for this week, but go ahead and get comfortable and check out this Sizzle Reel with the rest of this week's releases.
Let me stay with you. In this you just one night. I don't know about your life, but tell me 'cause we still have time. I can't stop looking at you, but do you feel the same, don't you? I think of you every moment. I think of you every moment. I can't stop looking at you, but do you feel the same, don't you? I think of you every moment. There's nobody else. There's nobody else. There's nobody else. Let me stay with you. In this you just one night. I don't know about your life, but tell me 'cause we still have time. I can't stop looking at you, but do you feel the same, don't you? I think of you every moment. I think of you every moment. I can't stop looking at you, but do you feel the same, don't you?
All right, everyone, what did you think? There's some pretty solid options this week. Definitely a lot better than last week. For me personally, I think Cloud Gardens and Source of Madness are the two games that I've really got a lot of excitement for. But let me know down in the comments below what you're thinking of picking up. Make sure you hit subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you got a lot of value out of it. And until next time, you tricksters, I hope you have great gaming. Bye-bye.